Sometimes the strongest among us are the ones who've forgotten how to ask for help. There was once a young wolf named Kale who lived at the base of a great mountain. He was strong, faster than most, sharper, more determined. While the other wolves hunted together in the valley, Kale trained alone on the slopes. He ran until his lungs burned. He climbed until his paws bled. He pushed himself harder than anyone else because he believed in one simple truth. Strength meant never needing anyone. The pack would gather around the fire at night, sharing stories and warmth, but Kale would sit apart, watching from the shadows, telling himself he didn't need their company. They're weak, he thought. They lean on each other because they can't stand on their own. He had a dream. At the peak of the mountain, there was said to be a stone, ancient and sacred, that glowed with a light no wolf had ever reached. Legends spoke of it, songs were sung about it, but no one had ever climbed high enough to see it. "I will," Kale promised himself. "I'll prove that one wolf alone can do what the pack never could." So one morning, before the sun rose, he began his climb. The mountain was steep, the air grew thin, the rocks cut his paws, and the wind howled like a living thing, trying to push him back. But Kale didn't stop. He climbed through the day, through the night, through exhaustion and pain and cold that sank into his bones. Halfway up, he passed a ledge where 3 wolves from his pack had tried to climb years ago. They'd turned back, the elders said. Too difficult, too dangerous. Kale smiled. Because they were together. Too slow, too cautious. I'm alone. I'm faster. He kept climbing. Days passed. The peak grew closer. His body screamed for rest, but he refused. Rest was weakness. Stopping was failure. Finally, after what felt like a lifetime, he reached a narrow ridge just below the summit. The sacred stone was close now. He could feel it. But then, the ground beneath him shifted. A crack, a rumble. The ridge crumbled. Kale lunged forward, claws scraping against stone, but it was too late. He fell, tumbling down the mountainside, crashing into rocks, into snow, into darkness. When he woke, he was wedged between 2 boulders in a deep crevasse. His leg was twisted. His ribs screamed with every breath. Above him, the sky was a thin strip of gray light, impossibly far away. He tried to stand. His leg buckled. He tried to climb. His body refused. He was trapped, alone, exactly as he'd always wanted to be. Hours passed, then a day, then 2. Kale lay in the cold silence, his breath shallow, his strength fading. No one knew where he was. No one was coming. He'd made sure of that. "This is what I wanted," he whispered to the darkness. "To do it alone. To need no one." But the darkness didn't answer, and for the first time in his life, Kale felt something he'd never allowed himself to feel before. Fear. Not of the mountain, not of failure. Fear of dying alone. On the 3rd day, he heard something. A sound so faint he thought he'd imagined it. Footsteps, voices, echoing down through the crevasse. "Kale!" The voice was distant, but unmistakable. It was Mira, one of the pack. "Kale, are you down there?" His throat was dry. His voice barely worked, but he called back. "Here, I'm here." Within minutes, ropes appeared. Then faces. Mira and 2 others from the pack. They'd been searching for days, tracking his scent through the snow. "We're getting you out," Mira said, her voice steady and calm. "Why?" Kale rasped. "I left you. I didn't want—" "We know," she said simply. But the pack doesn't leave its own behind. Even when they leave us, they work together. One held the rope, another guided it down. Mira descended into the crevasse and carefully secured the rope around Kale's chest. It took hours. Slow, painful, careful work. But they pulled him up, inch by inch, together. When Kale finally reached the surface, he collapsed onto solid ground, gasping, trembling. Mira sat beside him. "You almost made it to the top," she said quietly. Kale looked up at the peak, so close and yet impossibly far. "I failed." "No," Mira said. "You survived. That's not failure." Kale shook his head. "I wanted to prove I could do it alone, that I didn't need anyone, and I couldn't." Mira was quiet for a moment. Then she pointed to the mountain. "You see that ridge where you fell?" Kale nodded. "3 of us tried to climb this mountain years ago. We got to that exact spot, and we turned back." "Why?" Kale asked. "Because we realized something," Mira said. "The mountain doesn't care how strong you are. It doesn't care how fast or how determined. It's bigger than any one of us. And some things aren't meant to be done alone." She looked at him, her eyes kind but firm. "You climbed farther than anyone ever has, not because you were alone, but because you were strong enough to try. The mistake wasn't the climb, Kale. It was believing you had to do it without us." Kale felt something break inside him. Not his body. Something deeper. The wall he'd built around himself, stone by stone, year after year. "I thought needing help made me weak," he whispered. Mira shook her head. "Needing help makes you alive. We all need each other. That's not weakness. That's the only reason any of us survive." The pack carried Kale down the mountain. It took days. They moved slowly, carefully, taking turns supporting his weight, sharing their warmth at night. And for the first time in his life, Kale didn't fight it. He let them help. He let himself be held. When they finally reached the valley, the pack welcomed him back. Not with judgment, not with "I told you so's," just with warmth, with food, with presence. Kale's leg healed over time. His ribs mended. But something else healed too. Something he hadn't realized was broken. He never stopped being strong, never stopped training, never stopped pushing himself, but he stopped climbing alone. And years later, when the pack decided to try the mountain again, together this time, they made it farther than anyone ever had. They didn't reach the sacred stone. Maybe no one ever would, but they climbed as one. And when the wind howled and the rocks crumbled, they held each other steady. And Kale learned that the strength he'd been chasing his whole life wasn't found at the top of a mountain. It was found in the wolves who climbed beside him. Strength isn't proven by how high you climb alone. It's proven by knowing when to reach for the hand beside you,